Welcome back to the retirementplanningmadeeasy.com YouTube channel. And for those of you guys listening on your phones, the podcast show as well, where we talk about retirement planning issues and try to simplify a lot of the complication that's around them and make things much more easier to grasp so that you can help you with your planning for your retirement. If this is your first time here, I'm your host, Chris Hammond. And on today's show, I'm going to talk about something that goes against the grain for a lot of financial planning industry literature and positions that you'll hear out there a lot. I'm going to talk a little bit about 3 reasons why you may want to claim your Social Security benefit early. Now, the standard thing that you will often hear is that it's always better to delay your Social Security benefits up until age 70. Well, that may be the right thing for you. It may not be. And we're going to go into this today about some reasons why you might want to claim a little bit earlier. Now, there is a quick caveat here that I'd like to address, is that there are times where, it may not make sense to claim it early. Like, for instance, let's say you're working in retirement. And let's say you haven't reached your full retirement age. And nowadays, most people's full retirement age is starting to be age 67, just because of how Social Security has upped the age to that for people in certain years of birth and all that. So let's say your full retirement age is 67 and you're still working before that age, then you don't need to claim Social Security in most situations at age 62 when you're first eligible, because Social Security actually has a built-in system where for every $2 that you earn above $21,240 for the year, this is for the year 2023, by the way, for every $2 above that you earn, if you're still working beyond age 62, they'll actually claw back $1 from your Social Security benefits. So you can see it would not really take that high of an income for them to claw back the most, maybe even all of your Social Security benefits, if you are claiming them right at age 62. So if you're still working in retirement, it might not make sense to begin drawing right away at age 62. Now, once you reach full retirement age, and for most of you guys, that's going to be probably like between 66 and 67. It's getting to 67 now as people are aging into that. Once you reach full retirement age, this clawback feature, it goes away. So then you can draw your Social Security benefits at that age, and you can earn as much, as your heart desires, and they're not going to start clawing back some of your Social Security benefits. So that would be like one example of when claiming early for Social Security would not really make sense. And just keep in mind that an online video for you guys that are watching this on YouTube, or for you guys that are listening on the podcast, this is not, personalized advice. This is going over some generalities. And so when it comes to your own situation, make sure that you seek help that for your own personalized situation that's going to look at your whole financial situation. There's other factors in play that can actually have an impact on whether or not you should claim early or if you should delay until later. Cash flow issues are a big one, but there can also be tax issues. There's a lot of other things that could come up as well based on your situation. So let's talk about the first reason that you may want to claim Social Security early. You may want to break even on your Social Security. Okay. So think of Social Security as a mandated retirement plan. So you didn't have a choice whether or not you paid into Social Security during your working years. And your employer did not have a choice to pay in their contribution for you working during your working years. So it's approximately a little north, but approximately 6% of your income that you are mandated to pay in to Social Security when you're working. And your employer has to match that as well. So in other words, your employer is willing to pay that expense out. If they weren't mandated to put it into Social Security, they would have been willing, at least, to pay that out to you as income, but they had to pay it into Social Security. So it's roughly 12% of compensation, if you consider it from that angle, that your employer would have been comfortable paying this to you, since they were willing to pay it to hire you and pay the tax. That goes into this mandated retirement program. Now, once the money goes into it, you don't have an individual account at Social Security where it says, this is earmarked for you, John Smith. This is your money. And if you pass away, this money is going to go to your widow, or this is going to go to your children. It doesn't work like that. Instead, it just goes into a big pot. And then that pot is paid out to people that are drawing Social Security benefits. So when you look at delaying your Social Security until a later age, you're hoping that you're going to live long enough that you will at least break even by the delay. So you delay, it increases your benefit, but you had to delay and miss out on all those years prior that you could have been receiving a benefit. And then the goal being that you're hoping to get the money back long term. So that would be what you're trying to do with delaying. But there's always a chance that you may not. So break even, the way I like to think of it, is when the value of claiming later is greater than the value of claiming earlier. So are you going to draw more dollars from the Social Security system if you delay versus if you draw earlier? And the fact is, none of us really know when we're going to die. So we don't really know. If you knew exactly when you were going to pass away, then you would know exactly when the best time to begin drawing Social Security would be. But we don't really know that. Okay. So when you draw earlier, your benefit is lower, but you're getting the funds now and you're getting money back out of the system that you were forced to pay into. So that may be one reason that you'd want to claim Social Security earlier. Now, if this would also play into if you know that you are in poor health, for example, or if you don't have longevity in your family, if you delay, the longer you delay, the bigger your benefit will be. But if you don't have that longevity in your family, or you know you have some type of a condition that's not going to give you the time to break even when you draw Social Security, then that's another factor that may say, hey, maybe I need to draw earlier rather than later. Okay. Number two, spend the government's money first. So first of all, it's not your money anymore once it goes into Social Security. You paid taxes on it. You paid taxes, so you have that right to claim Social Security, but it's not really your money anymore. It's not earmarked, like I said earlier, like this is John Smith's money and he can tap into this and he can pull it out and do all that. It's not that. It's not even to the point where this is John Smith's money, and if he dies, John Smith's money can be paid out in a lump sum or whatever to his children. It doesn't work like that. So it's not your money anymore once it goes in there. You were mandated to pay in. You had to do it. We all have to do it. And now one argument for drawing early would be that you spend the government's money first. Now, if you don't do that, your option is, let's say you decide to retire at 62 and you decide that you're going to delay your Social Security up to, let's just say, age 70 for 8 years, just to make things easy. If you're not drawing that Social Security when you retire, you're probably, unless your expenses are extremely low and you have other sources of passive income coming in, you're probably going to have to pull money from your 401k, your TSP, your IRAs. Maybe you have some non-qualified accounts that you have stocks and bonds invested in, and you'll have to pull money from that. That's your money that you're pulling. That's your money that if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, you could have beneficiaries on that account where those funds actually go to your kids, to your spouse, whoever it may be. It's actually your money. And if you delay Social Security as soon as you retire at age 62 and you start having to spend down your money, well, unless you live long enough to start collecting benefits from Social Security and then live long enough that you're collecting those benefits for long enough, you're really just spending down more of your own money and not getting to tap into the government's money instead. So another reason might be that you want to spend their money first when you're looking at retiring early. And then the third reason is funding what I would call the GoGo Gears. So in retirement, you have these three phases where you first retire. You're at your most mental and physical fitness level that you'll probably be throughout your whole retirement. And that first phase is typically called the GoGo years, where you're wanting to go out and do more things. You're more active. You're finally tasting the sweet freedom of retirement. You don't have to be somewhere from 9 to 5 every day, and you want to go out and do things, and your health and your mental capacity allows you to do that. So you'll probably want to spend a little bit more during those years. And then later on, you get the slow go years where things start to slow down a little bit. And then the last phase of life is usually what they would call the no-go years, where your health and mental capacity is just not allowing you to go do a lot of the things. The go-go years is when you want to start doing things most people want to do things to check off their bucket list during that time. So another argument for drawing Social Security at an earlier age instead of retiring is that you can go ahead and get that increased income now during the years where you're wanting to spend more, and then you're saving your own money at that time as well. And it also helps to give you a lot more confidence because you know that check is going to keep coming in every month into your bank account to help you to fund these years where you're wanting to go out and experience everything and you're just enjoying the freedom that retirement brings. So that would be 3 reasons that you may want to consider claiming Social Security early. So let's talk about some of the takeaways from this. Now, this is not personalized advice that we're going through here. This is talking about generalities. There are times where it makes sense to delay Social Security, maybe even all the way up until age 70. One thing that can impact that decision in a very big way is whether you're married versus single. And especially if you're married and you're the higher income earner, which means your Social Security benefit is going to be higher from what you paid in throughout the years. But if you're married, higher income earner, and maybe your spouse is a good bit younger than you, especially, even if they're the same age, but especially if they're a good bit younger than you. And the reason being is that when a married couple, when one spouse passes away, and let's say they both have a Social Security benefit coming in retirement, when one spouse passes away, they lose one of the Social Security benefits. But the benefit that they lose is the lower benefit. The bigger benefit remains. So if the husband had the bigger benefit and he dies, the wife's benefit goes away, but she keeps the husband's higher benefit. Now, that can have a really big impact on whether or not you should claim early or later, because now the life expectancy on that delaying decision is not your own life expectancy if you have the bigger benefit. But now the life expectancy is on the couple together. So whereas one individual may have an average life expectancy into the mid-70s, the couple together, one of them will probably still be alive even farther beyond that, which means the more you delay, the more it has time to not only hit break even, but then go beyond break even and help out a surviving spouse that has lost their Social Security benefit. So married is a big impact on being married, has a big impact on the decision that you're going to make. This is a very individualized decision. So before you ever make a decision on what you're going to do with your Social Security, I highly recommend that you get advice, get an objective review of your financial situation before you do that. But I want you to just think that there may be some times where it makes sense to draw early and actually go against some of the standard information that you'll hear that says it's always best to delay your benefit until later. If you want any additional help on planning for your retirement, head on over to my website, retirementplanningmadeeasy.com. We have a free download there, the essential step-by-step retirement guide. Go there, download that. We'll send it out to you, email it to you immediately. You can use that to help you as you're planning for your retirement. Has a lot of helpful information inside of that. Until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.